Hey, xin chào tất cả các bạn. Tìm người ta xem gặp mìnhធ្វើអីឥឡូវហ្នឹងបាទខ្ញុំកំពុងតែលាងដៃជាមួយនឹងទឹកស្អាតតើតាក់ទងអ្វីជាមួយនឹងប្រធានបទរបស់យើងនៅថ្ងៃនេះបាទថ្ងៃនេះយើងមានប្រធានបទថ្មីមួយទៀតតាក់ទងជាមួយនឹងទឹកស្អាតនិងទឹកកខ្វក់បាទយើងទៅទស្សនាទាំងអស់គ្នាជាមួយនឹងបទសម្ភាសន៍ជាមួយនឹងវិស្វកររបស់យើងនៅថ្ងៃនេះ
ខ្ញុំឈ្មោះ Taslim ខ្ញុំជាវិស្វករទឹកស្អាតខ្ញុំនៅប្រទេសខ្មែរប្រហែលជា8ឆ្នាំកន្លះហើយនិងខ្ញុំជាវិស្វករទឹកស្អាតប្រហែលជា8ឆ្នាំហើយ
ជំរាបសួរអ្នកនរគ្នាខ្ញុំបាទឈ្មោះឈូម៉ារីនខ្ញុំបញ្ចប់ការសិក្សាផ្នែកវិស្វករទឹកស្អាតនិងទឹកកខ្វក់ហើយខ្ញុំធ្វើការឲ្យពេលឆ្នាំជិត1ឆ្នាំហើយ
ជំរាបសួរអ្នកទាំងអស់គ្នាខ្ញុំឈ្មោះចានខ្ញុំជាវិស្វករដែរដោយកាត់លីននិងម៉ារ៉េនខ្ញុំជាវិស្វកររយៈកាល20ឆ្នាំហើយខ្ញុំរស់នៅប្រទេសកម្ពុជារយៈកាល8ឆ្នាំប៉ុណ្ណា
A water and wastewater engineer is someone who does projects with water. So we would do projects dealing with flooded sites or water distribution, water treatment, water intakes. So any time you might have a need for water in that way or to treat water or treat your wastewater on site, we would be the ones to help you with that.
We also typically work with a team of other people. They're design professionals. So we work with the architect who's laying out the buildings and placing them to make sure that the buildings and the water and wastewater system work together well so that you have a very effective and efficient site.
Yeah, ដូចតែបានគាត់ទាំងពីរបានលើកឡើងខាងលើគឺវិស្វករទឹកស្អាតឬក៏វិស្វករទឹកកខ្វក់ជាទូទៅពួកយើងធ្វើការជាមួយនឹងទឹកជាពិសេសពួកយើងធ្វើជាយើង design ប្រព័ន្ធទឹកស្អាតយើង design ប្រព័ន្ធប្រតិកម្មទឹកកខ្វក់នៅនឹងកន្លែងឬក៏យើង design ប្រព័ន្ធប្រតិកម្មទឹកកខ្វក់មុននឹងយើងបញ្ជូនទឹកទាំងនោះចូលទៅក្នុងប្រព័ន្ធលូរដ្ឋ
So typically you would hire a water wastewater engineer if you're concerned about flooding at your site. In Cambodia that's a huge issue, trying to make sure that your building doesn't get flooded, and so we would help you with that, looking at the site and the design so that way it would be very less likely to be flooded. Also, if you're worried about water pressure in your house, making sure that you have enough water, those are areas where we could develop a system and design something so that you can make sure to have enough water pressure in your house. So that way when you're doing dishes, you're taking a shower, you have sufficient water and water pressure to do that.
បាទចំពោះខ្ញុំគឺវិស្វករទឹកស្អាតឬក៏ទឹកកខ្វក់មានសារៈសំខាន់ណាស់នៅលើពិភពលោកនេះពីព្រោះមិនថានៅអង្គភាពមួយឬក៏តាមផ្ទះមួយគឺគាត់ត្រូវដឹងពីចំនួនទឹកដែលគាត់ប្រើប្រាស់រាល់ថ្ងៃគាត់ត្រូវប្រើទឹកប៉ុន្មានរាល់ថ្ងៃហើយនឹងទឹកកខ្វក់ដែលចេញពីផ្ទះរបស់គាត់ឬក៏ចេញពីអង្គភាពមួយហើយបច្ចុប្បន្ននេះនៅលើពិភពលោករបស់យើងកំពុងតែមានភាពយកចិត្តទុកដាក់ទៅលើការគ្រប់គ្រងទឹកកខ្វក់ជាពិសេសជាយាមបង្កើនប្រសិទ្ធភាពដើម្បីកម្ចាត់នៅទឹកកខ្វក់ពីព្រោះវាប្រកបប៉ះពាល់ទៅដល់បរិស្ថានយ៉ាងខ្លាំងជាពិសេសនៅប្រទេសកម្ពុជាយ៉ាងណារីរដ្ឋាភិបាលកំពុងតែដាក់ដៃដាក់ជើងបញ្ចេញនៅគោលនយោបាយដើម្បីគ្រប់គ្រងនៅប្រព័ន្ធទឹកកខ្វក់នៅផងដែរ
So another thing that maybe you might need a wastewater and water engineer is if on your site you are required to treat your own wastewater. Many sites in Cambodia aren't connected to municipal sewage, so they're they have to do something with that wastewater. And so we could design a treatment system that includes primary treatment, secondary treatment, so that your effluent isn't contaminating the land around you.
Okay, និយាយពីការងារប្រចាំថ្ងៃរបស់ចំពោះខ្ញុំឬក៏វិស្វករទឹកសាឬវិស្វករទៅគាត់ចំពោះខ្ញុំជាទៅខ្ញុំdesign តាក់ទងជាមួយនឹងអាងប្រតិកម្មទឹកកកឬក៏ភាសាខ្មែររបស់យើងហៅថាភាសាអង់គ្លេសនិយាយថា septic tank គឺជា on primary treatment ដែលតាមផ្ទះមួយតម្រូវឲ្យមាន septic tank ហើយខ្ញុំកណនីទំហំរបស់ septic tank តែយើងត្រូវដាក់ទំហំប៉ុន្មានដើម្បីឲ្យវាស័ក្តិសមទៅនឹងទឹកកកដែលផលិតជាប្រចាំថ្ងៃហើយនឹងការ design site drainage ខ្ញុំកណនីចង់ឲ្យក្នុង site របស់ខ្ញុំហ្នឹងកុំឲ្យមាន flooding ឬក៏និយាយថាទឹកលិចផ្ទះអញ្ចឹងយើងត្រូវរកមើលកន្លែងណាដែលអាចបង្ហូរទឹកភ្លៀងទាំងអស់នោះនៅពេលដែលភ្លៀងកាន់តែខ្លាំងមកយើងបង្ហូរទឹកនោះចេញពីអគាររបស់យើង
What my day typically looks like is usually different, but some days I'm working alongside Marin and we're going over calculations and spreadsheets and reviewing numbers and making sure that the septic tank size is designed properly or sized properly, or that we're using the right size of pipes for the distribution network. So often it's a lot of spreadsheets and calculations, and also reviewing drawings and making sure that we're presenting the design in a way that is understandable for the client and the contractor. And so making sure that we have good notes on our drawings and that we're conveying the design that we want to produce. So often working alongside Marin, and that's been a lot of fun. And another part of the day is emailing with clients and making sure that we understand their needs and that we're providing a solution that meets those needs. And so that's another component of the day. That's also a lot of fun to hear the different projects that are ongoing and all the different things that we could be a part of.
I think for me, being a little bit more senior in my career, at this point, a lot of my time is spent with client interactions or with managing some of the staff and checking some of the drawings and the calculations that have been done. As Kathleen has mentioned, working directly with the owner or with the client to make sure that we're really understanding what their needs are. Also working with the other members of the design team, sometimes the structural engineers, sometimes the architects, coordinating with them to make sure that things are properly planned and thought about and working well together. So a lot of coordination involved with many different people, both engineers, architects, and the client. So one of the things that I really like about being an engineer, and especially a water and wastewater engineer, is the fact that we get to solve problems. And sometimes the problems are hidden, or you may not recognize them until they become a problem. And so one of the things that we do is try and solve them before they become larger problems. So a lot of times clients will come to us and not know what to do. They have this big problem, their site is flooding, and they really have no answer. And we get to come alongside of them and think about it really critically and use our experience to be able to solve their problem. And being able to do that is really refreshing and encouraging because people really don't know what to do. But we have the ability to really help and to solve that problem. It's really satisfying and just a great thing to do on a regular basis.
ចំពោះខ្ញុំការងាររបស់ក្នុងនាមជាវិស្វករទឹកឬវិស្វករបំផាត់ទឹកស្អាតអ្វីដែលខ្ញុំពេញចិត្តបំផុតគឺនៅពេលដែលនៅតំបន់មួយដែលគាត់ត្រូវការទឹកជាចាំបាច់ជាពិសេសទឹកស្អាតដែលជួបនឹងគ្រូទាំងស្ងួតហើយយើងអាច design អ្វីមួយដើម្បីគ្រប់គ្រងទឹកស្អាតទៅកាន់គាត់ពេលដែលគាត់បើកគាត់រមណីមកមានទឹកស្អាតប្រើប្រាស់គឺគាត់សប្បាយចិត្តគឺនៅពេលហ្នឹងគឺយើងមានអារម្មណ៍សប្បាយចិត្តមែនតើបាទហើយយ៉ាងដូចយើងជាផ្នែកមួយជួយក្នុងសហគមន៍របស់យើងដែល ធ្វើឲ្យជីវភាពឬក៏ប្រជាជនរបស់ក្នុងប្រទេសកម្ពុជាយើងរីកចម្រើនមួយកម្រិតទៀតហើយមួយវិញទៀតនៅតាមតំបន់ប្រទេសកម្ពុជាយើងមួយចំនួនដូចជាប្រព័ន្ធលូសាធារណៈមិនទាន់ទៅដល់ពេលអញ្ចឹងគាត់ត្រូវការវិធីសាស្ត្របំបត្តិទឹកកខ្វក់ដោយផ្ទាល់នៅកន្លែងអញ្ចឹងវាជារឿងចាំបាច់មួយហើយជាការងារដែលខ្ញុំពេញចិត្តនឹងធ្វើ
Similar to what Chad and Marin said, I also enjoy solving problems. And another part about being an engineer that I enjoy is working with the other disciplines, so the architects and the structurals on our team. I like interacting with them and hearing what they're doing and how we can work together to either do master plan, like master site planning, and also reminding them to save room for wastewater treatment on the site if that's needed. I like that interaction together. And then on a more like localized level, I really do enjoy doing calculations referring to water flowing through pipes. So.
យើងធ្វើការជាមួយមើល project ផ្សេងៗនេះជាច្រើនដូចជាសាលារៀនមន្ទីរពេទ្យឬក៏ផ្ទះសម្បែងនានាមួយទៀតគឺមជ្ឈមណ្ឌលកុមារកំព្រាអញ្ចឹងproject ទាំងនោះគឺជា project ដែលធំដែលមិនមែនតែសម្រាប់តែផ្ទះសម្បែង 4-5 នាក់ទេគឺតាក់ទងនឹង project ដែលមានមនុស្សច្រើន
I think for me one of the exciting projects that I've worked on recently with Petram has been a local church design. They came to us and had been living in rented facilities and wanted to move to another location. Unfortunately, the location that they had chosen, they had already purchased the land and it was already flooded. We went there and there was water that was up to your shin already. And so we got to work together with the architects, with the other team and the client to figure out how do we solve this problem. And so what we ended up doing was raising the building a little bit higher and also making sure that on the ground floor there was some parking areas and some areas that weren't so essential, so that way if it did get flooded it wouldn't be that big of a problem. So we also talked to the owner about how do we reduce flooding in the entire neighborhood. And it's my hope that the church is able to develop some relationships with the neighbors so that way they can work together to develop a system that is for the entire neighborhood to reduce some of the flooding in the entire neighborhood. So that way, not only does the church not get flooded, but also their neighbors don't have to experience the flooding as well. So that was really exciting to kind of walk through those issues and try and come up with some solutions to some of those challenges.
Two different projects come to mind that I really enjoyed working for, and one was here in Cambodia where we were working with an organization who wanted to pipe water to different villages, and so we were able to help them come up with the right pipe size and type and length to go from the water treatment plant to the villages. And so that was a really fun project to work on. Another one was for a large hospital where their wastewater treatment on site was completely failing. And again, like the people who work at the hospital are really good at what they do, but they really didn't know what to do with this wastewater that was just failing, and it was causing a lot of disease and smells. And so it was just really good opportunity to go in with other engineers and to come and like solve that problem and tell them ways that they could fix their existing wastewater treatment on site.
Working with Petram is a lot of fun. I mean, these guys are great that I get to work with. It's a real blessing to be able to work with both Kathleen and Marin, and we have a great staff. So getting to work with our other staff has been a great blessing. Also, just the fact that we have a lot of different disciplines in-house. So when we work with the other design team, like the architects or the structural engineers, we don't have to call somebody out to go to another office. They're right here, many times working right next to us in the other desk. So that's a great thing. The other thing that I really like about working at Petram is we start every morning with devotions, and it's a time for us to really focus on the Lord and to learn about Him through His Word, or to pray for one another, to learn about one another. And it really helps as you're starting the day to start it with the Lord and to have that mindset is great.
បាទចំពោះខ្ញុំធ្វើការនៅ Petram គឺជាខ្ញុំពេញចិត្តរីករាយមែនទែននឹងធ្វើការនៅ Petram ពីព្រោះ core value របស់ Petram ខ្ញុំចាស់ខ្ញុំគ្រាន់តែលើកឡើង core value មួយគឺ diversity យើងមានបុគ្គលិកជាច្រើនមកពីទូទាំងពិភពលោកហើយព្រមទាំងបុគ្គលិកនៅក្នុងស្រុកផងដែរហើយទាំងនោះហើយដែលធ្វើឲ្យពួកយើងធ្វើការជុំគ្នាហើយយើងចែករំលែកបទពិសោធន៍ចែករំលែកចំណេះដឹងអ្នកខ្លះមានបទពិសោធន៍ច្រើនអ្នកខ្លះមានបទពិសោធន៍តិចហើយនេះគឺជាអ្វីដែលយើងរៀនពីគ្នាទៅវិញទៅមកយើងខ្វះខាតយើងបំពេញគ្នាហើយនៅទីនេះ Petram គឺជាកន្លែងមួយសម្រាប់បង្រៀនដល់អ្នកដែលចង់រីកចម្រើនថែមទៀតនៅក្នុងវិស្វកម្មឬក៏នៅក្នុងវិស័យស្ថាបត្យកម្មហើយព្រមទាំងយើងមានអ្នកស្ម័គ្រចិត្ត volunteer ជារៀងរាល់ឆ្នាំមកជួយក្រុមហ៊ុននេះផងដែរអញ្ចឹងទាំងអស់នេះហើយដែលធ្វើឲ្យក្រុមហ៊ុនរបស់យើងមានគ្រឹះរឹងមាំហើយនៅពេលដែលអតិថិជនយើងជឿជាក់ថាយើងនឹងផ្ដល់ដល់អតិថិជននៅផលិតផលមួយដែលមានប្រសិទ្ធភាព like high quality. Yeah.
I really like working for Petram because I enjoy working with the different disciplines and that we're all in the same office and that we can see what they're doing and how they're approaching different projects and how we even work together on a lot of our projects. And so that's been really fun. It's also fun to work with Chad and Marin and volunteers that come and interns who come too. And I feel like our team is very fun. It's call it young and fun and don't say that. Our team is very fun. Yeah. Our team is very fun. We have a good time together and I really enjoy, as Chad was saying, that we start the day with devotions and that we meet together with discipleship groups on a weekly basis and that we get to grow together in the Lord as we look to His Word, as we pray with one another. I really feel like we are more than just coworkers, but we're friends and we're becoming family.
Right. So if you want to become a civil engineer with a specialty in water or wastewater, you have to go to university. And some of the courses that you would take in university are like hydraulics or fluid dynamics or some of the other ones.
Survey.
Water treatment.
Water treatment. Environmental science.
Wastewater design, pump design, pump design.
So specialize in those courses, take as many of those as you can, and then it's important when you get out of university or even while you're in university to get an internship with an engineering company. We have internships here and we'd love for you to apply for that.
Yes!
But really work under an experienced engineer that you can learn from and grow. Because in university you learn some things, but there's still a lot left to learn. So it's very, very important to work with an experienced engineer who can help you grow and develop more into your career. And then ultimately, it would be great to become licensed as well. Many countries have a procedure for you to become licensed as a professional engineer. And that's a very important process, a big step in your career as well. So.
អរគុណពុកម៉ែបងប្អូនទាំងអស់គ្នាដែលបានទស្សនាការនិយាយតាក់ទងអំពីអ្វីទៅជាវិស្វករទឹកសានិងទឹកកខ្វក់ហើយខ្ញុំជឿថាពុកម៉ែបងប្អូនបានចូលដឹងខ្លះៗអំពីវិស្វករទឹកសានិងទឹកកខ្វក់ហើយសូមឲ្យពុកម៉ែបងប្អូនជួយគ្រប់គ្រងក្រុមការងាររបស់យើងបន្តទៅទៀតសូមអរគុណ